So I welcome all of you again, and as the first part of the program, I invite Imam Sahab Rabia Mosque for the recitation of the Holy Quran.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ولقد مكناكم في الأرض وجعلنا لكم فيها معايش कुरान के बारे की एक छोटी सी आयत, वो भी पूरी नहीं, उसका एक छोटा सा टुकड़ा मैंने पढ़ाया भी आपके सामने। इसमें जो मैसेज है वो मैं आपके सामने अपनी ज़बान में रख रहा हूँ। इस पूरी दुनिया को बनाने वाले ने जो बात कही, हमने दुनिया में तुमको घर दिए रहने के लिए, इस दुनिया को तुम्हारे रहने के लायक बनाया, तुम्हारी ज़रूरत की हर चीज़ हमने यहाँ रख दी। तुमको कितनी सांस लेनी है, तुमको कितने पानी की ज़रूरत है, तुमको कितनी छत की ज़रूरत है, हर चीज़ हमने तुम्हारी ज़रूरत की यहाँ रख दी। और इससे भी ज़्यादा अहम चीज़ जो अगला सेंटेंस है, वजालना लकुम फीहा माइश, हमने तुम्हारी रोज़ी रोटी हासिल करने के जितने भी रास्ते हैं सब इस ज़मीन पर रख दिए हैं। अब तुम्हारा काम है तुम तलाश करो उन रास्तों को, किस रास्ते से तुमको रोज़ी मिल सकती है, किन किन रास्तों से तुम्हारे घर में बरकत आ सकती है, ये तुम्हारा काम है, तुम तलाश करो। हमने ज़मीन के ऊपर रख दिया है। जो आदमी जितना ज़्यादा तलाश करता है, जितना ज़्यादा घूमता है और अपने दिमाग को लड़ाता है कि मैं कहाँ से कुछ रोज़ी हासिल कर लूँ, कुदरत की दी हुई हर चीज़ इस ज़मीन के ऊपर मौजूद है, बस मेरा और आपका काम सिर्फ तलाश करना है। और ये कल भी एक प्रोग्राम हो रहा था, उसमें मैंने एक बात कही थी, मैं फिर आपके सामने रिपीट कर रहा हूँ कि रोज़ी तलाश करने वाला सिर्फ अपने लिए रोज़ी नहीं ढूंढता, अपने बच्चों के लिए रोज़ी नहीं ढूंढता, बल्कि वो अपने साथ सैकड़ों लोगों की रोज़ी का इंतज़ाम भी करता है। एक आदमी, मिसाल के तौर पर मैंने एक काम शुरू किया, अब मैं अकेला तो उस काम को आखिर तक नहीं ले जा सकता, मुझे जाहिर सी बात है कि मुझे बहुत से लोगों की मदद की ज़रूरत पड़ेगी। तो मैंने जिन जिन लोगों को अपने साथ लगाया काम के लिए, उन सब के घरों में रोज़ी पहुंचाने का इंतज़ाम, इसका ज़रिया भी मैं बना। तो ऊपर वाले की खुशी और उसकी बरकत ये मुझे भी मिलेगी। आखिर में एक बात कह के मैं अपनी बात ख़त्म करूँगा। इब्राहिम अदहम और शफीक बल्खी, ये दो बहुत बड़े बुजुर्ग गुजरे पुराने वक्त में। शफीक बल्खी एक मरतबा सफ़र पे जाने लगे, 1 मिनट लूँगा मैं आपका, ज़्यादा नहीं लूँगा। शफीक बल्खी एक मरतबा सफ़र पे जाने लगे तो उन्होंने अपने दोस्त इब्राहिम से कहा कि मैं सफ़र पे जा रहा हूँ और लंबा सफ़र है, मालूम नहीं कब मुलाकात हो आपकी। तो दोनों दोस्त चले गए, तो अलग हो गए। एक दिन गुजरा, अगले दिन फिर देखा इब्राहिम ने कि शफीक फिर मौजूद है सामने। कहें अरे भाई, तुम तो लंबे सफ़र पे जाने वाले थे, तुम कैसे फिर दोबारा नजर आ रहे हो? तो शफीक बल्खी ने क्या बात कही? उन्होंने कहा, मैं सफ़र पे जा रहा था, मैंने जंगल में देखा कि एक चिड़िया जख्मी पड़ी हुई है, उसके पर टूटे हुए हैं, पैर भी टूटा हुआ है। मैं उसको देख के सोचने लगा, ये बेचारी पड़ी हुई है, इसको कौन खाना देता होगा, कौन इसको पानी पिलाता होगा, ये तो मर जाएगी बेचारी। अभी मैं ये सोच ही रहा था कि मैंने देखा कि एक दूसरी चिड़िया उड़ती हुई आई और उसके पंजों में कोई चीज़ खाने की थी, वो उसने उसके सामने गिरा दिया। उस जख्मी चिड़िया ने उसको उठाया और खा लिया। तो मैंने सोचा कि एक जख्मी चिड़िया को जब ऊपर वाला रोज़ी इस तरीके से दे सकता है, तो मुझे इधर उधर फिरने फिराने की क्या ज़रूरत, मैं यहीं अपने घर में बैठता हूँ, रोज़ी मेरे पास यहीं आ जाएगी। इब्राहिम अदहम ने जो जवाब दिया वो आज के बच्चों के सुनने के लायक है। इब्राहिम ने कहा, बहुत अफसोस की बात है कि तुमने एक जख्मी चिड़िया की तरह बनना पसंद किया, तुमने उस चिड़िया की तरह बनना पसंद क्यों नहीं किया जो दूसरों को खाना दे रही है। दूसरों को खिलाने का जरिया बनो, दूसरों से खाने का जरिया नहीं। तुम दूसरों का पेट भरना, दूसरों के घर में चूल्हा जलवाना, दूसरों के घर में रोशनी करना, ये है इंसानियत। तो इसलिए हम सब के सामने एक रोल है, 2 रोल आए आपके सामने, एक जख्मी चिड़िया का जो उसने मांग के खा लिया, पेट भर लिया, और एक सेहतमंद चिड़िया जो खुद भी खा रही थी और दूसरों का भी इंतज़ाम कर रही थी। ये बच्चे जो आज यहाँ बैठे हैं, इंशाअल्लाह मुझे यकीन है आगे चलकर यही बच्चे नई नई जॉब, नई नई नौकरियां, नए नए रोजगार तलाश करेंगे और दूसरों के पेट भरने का सबब बनेंगे।
बहुत शुक्रिया इमाम साहब, थैंक यू सो मच फॉर द relevance of the message. Now I invite all the dignitaries on the dais, Janab Zafarwala, Sareer Zafarwala Sahab, Dr. Reshma Nasrina Dean, Rajneesh Kumar Sahab, Viren Handa Sahab, Meena Ashok Madam, Rahul Handa Sahab, our Dean Professor Dr. Reshma Nasreen. Thank you so much. We would also like to felicitate our guests, so I request our Dean, Professor Dr. Reshma Nasreen, to felicitate the guests by offering them a planter. To Mr. Zafar Sahab, I would also like to felicitate Rajneesh Kumar sir. I would also like to felicitate Mr. Viren Handa sir. Thank you. As we proceed with the program, I would just like to throw some light on the fact that how Department of Management has been involved in entrepreneurship as an activity and also as a course of subject. When I joined the department back in 2009, I was offered this subject, and since last 14-15 years, the Department of Management has been teaching entrepreneurship in the postgraduate and undergraduate program. So now we see all the buzz around entrepreneurship as a concept, as an orientation, but thankfully we have been doing much before also. And last year we have started a specialization also on entrepreneurship, since the theme is education to entrepreneurship. So I wanted to make this point that we have started a specialization and we are giving major and minor both in entrepreneurship in our MBA program. So we are already, after seeing today's concept and idea, I think we are already in the right track. We have been doing this. तो यही बस मुझे याद आया कि सितारों के आगे जहाँ और भी हैं, अभी इश्क के इम्तिहान और भी हैं. गए दिन के तन्हा था मैं अंजुमन में, यहाँ अब मेरे राज़दां और भी हैं. So I think everybody is now thinking about the same. The deliberations and the iterations on entrepreneurship are going on, but we have been doing it. So now I would like to invite our Dean, Professor Dr. Reshma Nasreen, who have been a constant source of motivation for all of us. It is her under leadership that we have actually, we were ready for this program. So ma'am would be officially welcoming all the guests.
Tired all of you already? Applause are very weak. I think we have got 15 minutes to the morning left. So good morning all of you. I welcome our dignitaries on the dais, off the dais, all the students here. And we have got an eclectic mix of students from management, the post-PG courses, the UG courses. We have students from MassCom. Point to be noted here is that entrepreneurship, starting your own venture or having that potential to take the risk and start an endeavor is not limited only to marketing. is not limited only to management. So anyone who has got a brilliant idea, and today, incidentally, like Imam Sahab just told, that we had a seminar yesterday as well on innovation and entrepreneurship as a career opportunity. And the whole, carrying on what Professor Nudrat told right now, that we have been educating the students towards entrepreneurship, and the whole idea is to make you job givers and not job seekers. That is the first thing. Like Imam Sahab just told, a healthy individual not only serves himself but is morally obligated to serve the society as such. And we want you all to come out of that niche only to shake apni apni dekh, to shake sabki dekh, and be pillars to the of society. And I think it is a moral responsibility as uh, Hamdardians to spread Hamdardi all around. So we are sitting in a beautiful green campus in the heart of South Delhi, and please imagine, had this land been used for only self purposes, the founders would have been multi-millionaires. But what they have done is, by uh, giving the land, giving the property, establishing this organization, they have empowered millions of families throughout the years to feed not only themselves but to serve the society at large. And that is the essence of Hamdard, and we need to carry on the legacy of Hakim Abdul Hamid Sahab, and each individual in their form of each individual is obligated to be a human first, and somewhere in this race, to be successful in this race, to make a mark, we have started thinking only about ourselves. Serving yourself will not serve you also entirely, because once you start giving, you learn the power of happiness, right? So, in this context, I think Talim o Tarbiyat has been doing an remarkable work. Mr. Zafar Sareshwala Sahab, who is the ex-chancellor of Maulana Azad National Urdu University, has been a pioneer in education system also, and so was sharing snippets of his life, how he involved all his family members who were very educated to give quality education to kids in Gujarat, kids who couldn't afford quality education, जिनके पास उतनी facilities नहीं थी, and people who are from have been educated in Harvard, Oxford, have pitched in, and family, उन्होंने अपनी पूरी family को involve कर दिया in the education of kids, and now those kids are carrying on the enlightenment. वो काफ़ी educated हैं, they are not only serving themselves, they are serving the society at large. So I thank Mr. Zafar Sareshwala for his persistence. I was requesting sir कि sir अभी exams चल रहे हैं और थोड़ा सा हमारे यहाँ स्पोर्ट्स एंड कल्चरल वीक है, बच्चे कम होंगे, उन्होंने कहा कि अच्छे काम के लिए ना मैं इतना वेट नहीं करता, let's start it and we can have this event later on also. So I see that spark of perseverance in spreading good work. Thank you so much, sir, for giving us this opportunity to host you here. And I thank Mr. Rajneesh Kumar, who is the former chairperson, SBI, State Bank of India. As we all know, SBI is one of the largest networked public sector bank. And I'm sure under your aegis you must have helped lots of entrepreneurs to realize their dreams. And I thank Mr. Viren Rana for accepting our invite and for coming here. Mr. Vivek Rana is not only a tech entrepreneur himself, but he is also an angel investor, and he believes in identifying the right potential in your business ideas, and he invests there. So I thank Mr. Vivek Rana also for gracing the podium. Although Maria Shakil has not come here, we have not invited her here, but thank you for coming here, and she will be conducting the discussion on entrepreneurship and the avenues, and I don't know, the discussion may go anywhere. So thank you all for coming. Students, I request you, and I think I have that right to command you also to open all your faculties and be very receptive to the opportunities and ideas that will be shared here. And anyone can become a good investor. आप थोड़े थोड़े investment से भी अपना kitty को line up कर सकते हैं. So see the opportunities of investment, and the dignitaries here will be sharing all these things to you. They'll be educating you towards financial literacy. So thank you once again, and I hope we have got a very good deliberation. And thank you all the faculty members who are standing there ensuring that the hall is receptive enough. Thank you so much. I think I just forgot to tell. Our Honorable Vice Chancellor will be joining very soon.
Thank you, ma'am. I would like to invite Madam Reena Ashok and Mr. Rahul Anda on the stage, on the dais. Yes, I would like to felicitate the guests. Dr. Reshma Nasreen can do the honors. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. As we proceed towards the program, now I would like to invite Mr. Zafar Sareshwala, ex-Chancellor, Maulana Azad Urdu University, to deliver an address and enlighten us on what Talim Tarbiyat is all about. Thank you, sir.
Assalamu alaikum. Nahmadu wa nusalli ala rasulil kareem. Amma ba'd. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajeem. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Iqra bismi rabbikal ladzi khalaq. Khalaqal insana min 'alaq. Iqra wa rabbukal akram. Allama bil qalam. ये मैं बगैर तमीद जुबान के सीधा बात पे आता हूँ कि हमारे यहाँ मुल्क में तालीम में काफ़ी डेवलप हुआ है। मैं देखता हूँ सिलेबस कभी कभी बच्चों का, तो हम जो पढ़ते थे उसके मुकाबले में यानी मुझे अभी 12th स्टैंडर्ड की फिजिक्स समझ में नहीं आती, यानी मैथ्स भी समझ में नहीं आता कि पता नहीं कब हमने पढ़ा था। तो एक लेवल बढ़ा है बहुत। दूसरा, बच्चों की मैंने एक वो देखी इससे कि बहुत ज़िंदगी में हमने इंटरव्यू लिए बच्चों के सालों तक, और अक्सर मैंने इंजीनियरिंग ग्रेजुएट्स के इंटरव्यू लिए। तो मैं जब बच्चे आते थे इंटरव्यू के लिए जो फ्रेश, तो मैं वर्नियर कैलिपर अपने पास रखता था और मैं वो देता था कि भाई चलो मेजर करो। तो इंजीनियरिंग ग्रेजुएट मैकेनिकल इंजीनियरिंग का उसको वर्नियर कैलिपर मेजर करने नहीं आता था। और ये है यानी एक आप सुनते होंगे कि भाई हमारा जो नौजवान है इस वक्त वो एम्प्लॉयबल नहीं है, यानी जो बच्चे निकलते हैं यूनिवर्सिटी से दे आर नॉट एम्प्लॉयबल। इसके आप देखेंगे कि बहुत सारी बड़ी जो इंस्टीट्यूट्स हैं, इन्फोसिस या जो और TCS वगैरह और भी कंपनी लेते हैं बच्चों के, दे ट्रेन देम एटलीस्ट फॉर अ ईयर, क्योंकि वो एम्प्लॉयबिलिटी नहीं होती। जो पढ़ते हैं या जो पढ़ाया जाता है और जो बाहर निकलते हैं, तो उसमें बहुत ज़बरदस्त एक फ़र्क होता है। तो मेरे जहन में एक बात हमेशा से खटकती थी कि भाई हम ये बच्चों को क्या दें जो बाहर निकलेंगे। तो वो आदमी वही देता है जो खुद ने जो किया होता है पूरी जिंदगी। तो मेरी पूरी जिंदगी निकली है इन्वेस्टमेंट बैंकिंग में। मैंने कंपनीज के लिए पैसे रेज किए हैं, मार्केट के लिए रेज किए हैं, लोनें दिलाई हैं लोगों को, एनपीएस को संभाला है, रिस्ट्रक्चरिंग किए हैं, और स्टॉक मार्केट से कनेक्शन रहा पूरी जिंदगी। तो एक बात हमेशा ही आती थी कि हमारे एक तो लिटरेसी या इलिटरेसी है एक, लेकिन पढ़े लिखों के अंदर मैंने देखा दे आर फाइनेंशियली इलिटरेट। यानी मैं देखता हूं कि एक डॉक्टर है, बेहतरीन डॉक्टर है, लेकिन फाइनेंस के बारे में बिल्कुल उसे मालूम ही नहीं है क्या आता है क्या जाता है, और कितने तो बड़े फखर से कहते हैं यार मैं तो चेक पे साइन कर देता हूं, बस मालूम ही नहीं। दुकानदारी हमारे बहुत सारे लोग चलाते हैं। तो हमारे गुजराती में एक कहावत है कि वो जो डूब जाते हैं 2 साल के बाद, तो पता चलता है कि हमारे गुजराती में एक कहावत है कि वकरो एटलो नफो, यानी गले में जो आया वो नफा है। अरे भाई कितना आया, कितने में खरीदा था, अपनी एनर्जी, यानी आदमी जब दुकान के उस पर बैठता है तो वो अपना नहीं देखता कि भाई मैं जो 12 घंटे लगाता हूं उसका क्या इंटरेस्ट देना है ना, वो एट द एंड ऑफ द ईयर पता चलता है कि भाई सब डूब गया है, क्योंकि हिसाब किताब मालूम ही नहीं है। तो फाइनेंशियली हम लोग इलिटरेट हैं, मालूम ही नहीं है बैंकिंग क्या है, बैंक से लोन कैसे लेनी। जैसे मैं हमेशा हमारे लोगों को कहा करता हूं कि भाई तुम्हारे घर में 5 किलो गोल्ड है, उसकी वैल्यू नहीं है, तुम्हारे बैलेंस शीट पे 500 ग्राम है गोल्ड, वो काम आएगा, है ना। तो वो कैसे करना। हमारे बहुत सारे लोग आते हैं कि साहब मेरे पास मैंने 2 करोड़ रुपए डाले इस बिजनेस में, यार मुझे 1 करोड़ रुपए की लोन चाहिए। तो जब पेपर लेके आता है वो तो पता चलता है कि 1 लाख रुपए भी नहीं दिख रहे हैं। बोले हाँ बिल्डिंग दिख रही है, सब कुछ है, लेकिन बैंक है या कोई जो पैसे लगाएगा वो किस पर लगाएगा, ये आपके पेपर क्या बोलते हैं। तो ये मुझे लगा कि हम अपने बच्चों को दें कुछ, तो इसलिए हमने ये बैंकिंग और जो बेसिक क्या होता है, लोन कैसे लेनी, लोन की रिपेमेंट क्या होती है। एक मेरा हमेशा ये देखा मैंने, और खासतौर से मैं मुसलमानों को कहता हूं हमेशा, इसलिए कि आई वॉज द फर्स्ट मुस्लिम टू एवर एंटर एनी स्टॉक एक्सचेंज इन द कंट्री। मैं 89 में, और मैंने तो इंजीनियरिंग की थी, कुछ काम किया हमने, और क्योंकि शेयर की खरीदो फरोख्त वो बचपन से करते थे, तो एक अपॉर्चुनिटी मिली कि भाई स्टॉक एक्सचेंज में जाने की। तो मैं अपना सब कुछ छोड़कर बम्बई चला गया, एंड आई वेंट टू द स्टॉक एक्सचेंज। तो आप नहीं मानेंगे, वो जमाना था फार क्राई मेथड का, जो आज के बच्चों को तो पता भी नहीं है। बहुत सारी चीजें ऐसी हैं कि बीच से ऐसी चली गई हैं कि हमारे बच्चों को मालूम ही नहीं है। जैसे मैं हमेशा कहा करता हूं कि हमारे दोस्त हैं सलीम साहब, जो सलमान खान के वालिद, जो दुनिया के बेहतरीन फिल्म राइटर और स्क्रिप्ट राइटर हैं, डायलॉग राइटर हैं। तो वो कहते हैं कि भाई, उनको मैंने एक दिन पूछा कि बेस्ट डायलॉग राइटर कौन है, तो कहा कि बेस्ट डायलॉग इज पुअर मैन्स टेलीग्राम। तो मैंने जब बात की तो हमारे बच्चों को मालूम ही नहीं था कि टेलीग्राम है क्या। हम तो बड़े हुए टेलीग्राम से, तो पुअर मैन्स टेलीग्राम क्या, क्योंकि उस जमाने में एक एक वर्ड, एक एक अल्फाबेट की कीमत होती थी। तो गरीब आदमी, जैसे हमारे गुजराती बोले रीच, बस समझ जाओगे, रीच टुमारो, वो इस तरह से होता था। और ये बच्चों को ये भी नहीं मालूम, किसी जमाने में फोन पीपी होता था। यानी मुझे याद है अब तक कि मैंने जब इंजीनियरिंग खत्म कर दी थी, तब तक फैक्स मशीन हिंदुस्तान में नहीं आया था। तो बहुत सारी चीजें आपको मालूम ही नहीं है क्या क्या हो गया, आप सीधे व्हाट्सएप के जमाने में आ गए हो। बीच में क्या क्या था, तो टेलीग्राम एक होता था। तो हमने देखा कि ये जब मैं स्टॉक मार्केट में गया तो वो जमाना था कि जब 2-3 हजार लोग होते थे एक हॉल में, ब्लू वो कोट पहना होता था और वो इशारों से सब होता था। तो उसमें मैं अकेला मुसलमान था 3000 लोगों में। तो मैं जब वहां गया तो मैंने, जब हमारे कव्वाली मुसलमानों में चलती है कि हमारी यूपीएससी में 2% है, फलाने में हम 3% है ना, वो जो आपने भी सुनी होगी कव्वाली। तो मैं हमेशा कहता हूं कि यार एग्जाम में तो बैठते नहीं हो, आओगे कैसे। तो मैंने वहां देखा कि भाई यहाँ तो 3% और 2% है, यहाँ तो 0.001% भी नहीं है। मतलब कोई भी स्टॉक मार्केट किसी मुल्क का फाइनेंस का दिल होता है, यानी वो कंट्रोल करता है। वहां तो आपका रिप्रेजेंटेशन 0.001% भी नहीं है। मैं अब कुछ लफ्ज बोलूंगा तो मैं कोई मौलाना तो नहीं है ना, तो मुझे डर लगता है फतवा आ जाता है उसको। ये मौलाना से तो माशाल्लाह। तो मैं जब उस जमाने में मैंने खाली इतना कहा तो मुझ पर फतवा लग गया था। मैंने किसी ने पूछा कि भाई ये स्टॉक मार्केट में मुसलमान क्यों नहीं है, तो मैंने कहा ये हराम हलाल के चक्कर में पड़ गए और उसमें रह गया, बस इतना मैंने कहा तो मेरे ऊपर फतवा आ गया कि ये ईमान से खारिज हो गया, कलमा पढ़ो इससे फिर से। तो हमारे उसमें है ही नहीं कि बस स्टॉक मार्केट, ओह ये तो सूद है, यहाँ सट्टा है, ये है, तो गई नहीं उसकी तरफ कभी भी। और मैं गया दाढ़ी के साथ स्टॉक मार्केट में, तो एक बेचारे हमारे मिलने वाला है, बोले यार जफर भाई कि आप यूनुस भाई के बेटे, दीन आपके खानदान से आया है, आपका स्टॉक मार्केट में जाना लाहौर बड़ा हुआ, तो पता ही नहीं हमको। जैसे हमारे यहाँ बहुत स्टैंडर्ड है मौलवियों में, सबसे पहले हराम, बस हराम के सर्टिफिकेट तो हमारे ऐसे निकलते हैं कि कोई लिमिट ही नहीं है। जैसा है ना भाई, पहले चांद पे गए तो नहीं, चांद पे तो हराम, रेडियो जब आया तो रेडियो हराम था, टीवी आया तो टीवी हराम था, और अब यूट्यूब पे देखो तो जितने मौलवियों की यूट्यूब पे वीडियो है इतनी शायद ही किसी कौम की होगी। बहरहाल तो ये स्टॉक मार्केट क्या है मालूम ही नहीं। और आज आप देखें हमारा हाल कि वी आर अ पॉपुलेशन ऑफ 135 करोड़, 135 करोड़ की आबादी में 10 मिलियन भी डीमैट अकाउंट नहीं है। तो ये मैंने देखा कि ये स्टॉक मार्केट के इंडेक्स क्या है, 50,000 है, 30,000, ये बंबई दिल्ली कलकत्ता के अलावा बच्चों को तो मालूम ही नहीं है, ये किस चिड़िया का नाम है। तो व्हाट इज दैट, ये स्टॉक मार्केट है क्या, उसमें इन्वेस्टमेंट के एवेन्यूज क्या है, व्हाट आर द डिफरेंट मोड्स ऑफ इन्वेस्टमेंट। भाई बाप अगर कारोबारी है, दादा कारोबारी है, वही बनता था। अब ये दौर है कि अगर आपके पास आइडिया है तो यू कैन कन्वर्ट दैट आइडिया इनटू बिजनेस, एंड वी हैव इन फ्रंट ऑफ अस ट्विटर है, फेसबुक है, आपका व्हाट्सएप है, गूगल है, हमारे यहाँ भी है भाई, स्विगी है, जोमैटो है, फ्लिपकार्ट है, दीज आर ऑल आइडियाज, बट दैट आइडिया हैज नाउ कन्वर्टेड इनटू बिजनेस। तो हमारे बच्चों को भी दिमाग में आइडिया आते हैं, तो व्हाट इज दैट, हाउ डू यू कन्वर्ट योर आइडिया इनटू बिजनेस। तो हमने सोचा कि भाई ये भी हम बताएं, तो इसलिए ये फील्ड के एक्सपर्ट हैं जो ये अक्सर इनमें से वो लोग हैं कि जो प्राइम मिनिस्टर को एडवाइस देते थे या देते हैं अभी भी, जो आपके सामने आए। तो हमने ये सोचा कि इस तरह की चीज, और हाँ ये एक दिन की वर्कशॉप में आप कोई माहिर तो नहीं बन जाओगे, लेकिन हाँ इतना जरूर होगा कि जो बच्चे ये प्रोग्राम के बाद यहां से निकलेंगे उनको ये लगेगा मैं भी कर सकता हूं। तो लोग मुझे पूछते हैं कि जफर भाई आप क्या चाहते हो, मैंने कहा मैं सिर्फ इतना चाहता हूं कि जो बच्चे यहां से निकले और उसको ये अंदर हो कि मैं भी कर सकता हूं, तो मेरा काम हो गया। थैंक यू सो मच।
ठीक से चल रहा है, कुछ अपडेट है?
As we move further for the program, I invite Ms. Maria Shakil on the dais, as now we will be having a discussion on education to entrepreneurship, and Madam would be the moderator for the same.
This is Doordarshan Urdu. Hi ma'am, good to see you.
So as we proceed for the discussion,
Hi.
there will be a discussion on education to entrepreneurship, and Mr. Viren Rana will be part of that. Mr. Rajneesh Kumar will also be part of that. Also, Ms. Reena Ashok and Mr. Rahul Anda will be part of the discussion. So now we proceed for the discussion.
Call Mr. Amit from CDS.
Acha, Mr. Amit, please you're welcome sir on the
Yeah,
dais.
please, sir, get a chair.
Yes, yes.
There is a check.
So we have this discussion on education to entrepreneurship.
We'll need a mic. Are these mics functional? But will it be moving from one person to the other? Hi. Mic. So this is the mic, but then what about the others? Baki loka kaise hoga? It'll catch on one side of everybody. That's good enough. Okay.
10 meter range.
10 meter? 10 meter there? Acha. Okay. Okay. So, hello everyone. Assalamu alaikum. Adab. मेरा नाम मारिया शकील है. I work as the political editor and anchor with CNN News 18. I am from Bihar, and I can see my fellow Biharis as well. In fact, we have a VIP entering the venue. So
the Vice Chancellor sir is here, Professor Ashar Alam.
Assalamu alaikum. How are you?
Hello.
How are you?
बड़ा प्रोग्राम चलता है. I saw at the convention center.
Our Vice Chancellor, Professor Ashar Alam sir, has just entered. He's there on the dais, and sir, we are just to start a discussion on the topic education to entrepreneurship, which will be moderated by Ms. Maria Shakil. We have Mr. Rajneesh Kumar, Mr. Rahul Anda, Ms. Reena Ashok,
I think that's better.
Mr. Viren Handa. We have all of these people, these dignitaries who will be doing the discussion on the topic.
Hello everyone. Assalamu alaikum. And the purpose of this discussion, which I'm moderating, is that you'll be asking questions and the dignitaries will be responding to your questions. We have to make it extremely interactive. So we'll open this session with a brief introduction, or should I say the opening comment from all those who are there on the dais. And thereafter I'll open the session for questions, because I'm sure you have questions. As Zafar Bhai was saying, it was about translating an idea, ensuring that an idea is compelling enough, and at the same time it has that scalability and also perhaps even potential to be implemented. The purpose, and you know, it's very interesting that we are talking about education to entrepreneurship. कुरान में जो फर्स्ट लफ्ज़ है उसका वो वर्ड है इकरा, पढ़ो. सो जब हमारे पापा या वालिद साहब पटना में हमको बोलते थे कि तुमको कहीं भी जाना है, तुम पढ़ने के लिए कहीं भी जाओ, चीन जाओ या जहाँ जाना है जाओ. सो दैट इज द पर्पस. आप लोग सब यहाँ पर हैं, तो एजुकेशन इज समथिंग दैट यू आर इन द प्रोसेस ऑफ एक्वायरिंग. व्हाट नेक्स्ट? What after education? And that is the reason why we are here to have this conversation with you. Zafar Bhai and I go a long way. 2012-13 में हमारी उनकी मुलाकात हुई थी, और उसके बाद जब उन्होंने ये इनिशिएटिव शुरू किया, he has been holding this तालीम व तरबियत in every state of India, trying to interact with students, trying to interact with the community to understand that narrative आपको खुद सेट करना है. और अगर आप पढ़ाई के डायरेक्शन में रहिएगा तो जो सराउंड साउंड है वो आप इग्नोर कर सकते हैं. तो चलिए हम सराउंड साउंड इग्नोर करते हैं, and let me get straight into the discussion. And the woman on the panel, I'm going to begin with you, ma'am. Reena Ashok, your opening comment, why are interactions of this nature important?
Personally, I feel the interactions of this nature are really important for us to even open up our eyes and see what is available, what can be converted into a resource, and how can we take it forward. Even if one wants to generate an idea, it even helps during this discussion to generate ideas. And then comes the implementations of the ideas. These kind of discussions take you a long way to help you formulate the entire business journey. And that is the reason why I think that these deliberations are important.
Rajneesh ji, you and I have often interacted over television. I have interviewed you as the chairman of SBI. You know, public sector is one area which is of great interest to many. Students, I'm sure men and women alike here would be interested in knowing more about you. And what is it that you'll be telling them today?
No, one is that it is a wonderful initiative which Zafar Bhai has taken, and I'm thankful that Hamdard Jamia is organizing this event for Management Institute. A little bit about me. I'm not an entrepreneur, let me clarify, because I was always in employment. I started my career with the State Bank of India as a probationary officer in 1980 and then retired as chairman at State Bank of India in October 20. So that was a long journey of 40 years. So I am not an entrepreneur, but I had the opportunity to meet, you can say, all entrepreneurs in the country. And starting from micro, where the capital requirement may be 1,000, 5,000 rupees, and to, you name anybody, whether it is, like the most popular names are nowadays Ambani and Adani. So, but at that level where the requirement for capital is huge. And why these type of, and incidentally, I am the chairman of the board of governors of Management Development Institute, Gurgaon. So that way a banker, and now I am also chairman of Bharat Pay, a startup. So it is a job to chairing the board of an entrepreneur and chairing the board of an educational institution. And having a dialogue with these students is something which I love. And the equation here is C is equal to E square. So C is conversation, E square is experience and entrepreneurship. So energy is with the young people. And when they both meet, they can create the wonders. And about like there may be like, because all of you who are studying here, there is a huge difference in India of 1980s and the India of 2000. Completely different. What your parents or my parents or we have seen in India and what you see today, it's a different one. And in banking, when I started my career in 1980, everything was manual. No technology at that time. There was some technology which was being used at the back end systems, but not at the front end. Data entries for some reconciliation, but the huge ledgers which will be you see in a bank at a clerk's table, and everything was manual. And it's a remarkable journey of 40 years for the banking system. Particularly, things changed in our country after 91. You're a management student, so I'm sure that you would be aware what happened in 91.
They wouldn't be born then, but I'm sure they would have read it.
So most of you, yes, would have not been born in 91. But what you are seeing, the crisis in the neighboring country, in 91 we had a similar crisis. We had to pledge our gold to England to raise the funds. But the reforms which were initiated in 91, it is the impact of those reforms today, which have been carried out by the successive governments, that we see of India today, which is much more confident, much more prosperous, and in terms of technology, we are now amongst the most advanced country. So it's a remarkable achievement. Now when the environment is so good, then it's your moment. The people who are young. And today, sometimes I have seen that the parents get horrified when their son or daughter, they leave a very cushy job and say, I want to be on my own. So that is the trend. And they get very worried. तुम्हारा दिमाग खराब हो गया इतना अच्छा जॉब छोड़ के और अपना काम शुरू कर रहे हो, that would be a conversation which would be happening. So this is the ideal time. And then, as Zafar Bhai was telling, that first is, of course, you need an idea, and then to convert it, that idea, you need a lot of things. And because I am a banker, and that was the idea which Zafar Bhai was talking, that let me focus only on the finance part of it. So very briefly, and then house will be open for question answers, so you can ask your question. But you need an idea and you need a capital to implement. And capital, as Zafar Bhai indicated, is of various types. So it's not all about loan. You need your own funds. You need equity. There is equity, there is loan. Equity means your own capital. Now, you may not have sufficient capital, but in the market, there is availability of capital. When you start, for the startup, there is a separate type of capital which is called venture capital. And the venture capital works on the principle that if they finance 10 people, so 9 of them will fail or may fail. And if one succeeds, that gives them the return which covers all their losses. So that is the venture capital. The stock market, it's a much later, which is a public listed company. That is a very different ballgame. And reaching up to that point, it takes a couple of years where you can even think of. So it is then private equity, which is different than venture capital and different than what you raise from the stock market. So you need your own capital, you need venture capital. Once you have graduated from venture capital, then private equity comes in. And then, as far as banks are concerned, I am a banker. So bankers by nature are not entrepreneurs. That is the problem. And many a times I used to have this conversation with the entrepreneurs who come. They will always come with big ideas. And not a bad thing, but I used to tell them that unfortunately we are on different sides of the table. So because in everything I see the risk, there is a problem with me. Because if I did not have that risk mindset, then I would be sitting on the other side of the table. So this is the same thing. It is looked differently by different people.
I'm going to take this conversation ahead.
Yes.
Yes. So we also have Viren Rana. He is a tech entrepreneur, angel investor, and a philanthropist. What may be of interest to most of you would be that he had successfully built Renovite, which is a 21st century payment infrastructure platform, which was acquired by JP Morgan Chase Bank in 2022. So maybe if you have an idea, he may be the person. Mr. Rana?
Thank you, Maria. It's an absolute honor and privilege to be here, friends. I can tell you, I go back, 25 years back, came from a background, as many of you are here, grew up in a village in Gurgaon, in a family of 5 with 4 sisters, and my dad was in the Air Force. And he always believed that for us to break the ceiling in life, you have to get good education. So I got my computer science from Shivaji University in Maharashtra and landed in California in January of 1996. And I can tell you, when I landed there, everybody used to say that US was the land of opportunity. And I will say this today, India is the land of opportunity. So, I worked there for about a couple of years, built about 3-4 companies, out of which 2 were very successful. So my previous company also, ISTS Worldwide, that I started in 2002, was acquired by Clearup in 2011. And then I started Renovite in 2015, that was acquired by JP Morgan Chase in 2022. The other thing I will say is, I think India will be making great progress in terms of angel investing. There are a lot of angel investor networks. I myself have invested in about half a dozen startups around the globe. I will say this: capital is still cheap, and you will get it, friends. You need to have a good idea, a good team, and you need to be passionate about what you want to change. What problem are you solving? I think that's the key part. I'll tell you, 2 weeks back, I had a healthcare company. Guys came up to me and, I'll be writing a decent sized check to them. It's just the four of them with a great idea. And trust me, the amount of money that they want to raise, they have more commitments than that. So I think, and I can tell you it's not always about capital. You can bootstrap companies. You can, the idea has to be good and your passion to change the world and make this, world a better place through business ideas, through, entrepreneurship, through, different things that you want to do. I think that is important. Thank you.
We also have Rahul Hamdard. He's an expert in sales and marketing, retail and health technologies, global team setup and management. He is presently the Vice President of ONDC. Mr. Hamdard,
Thank you.
your opening comments.
Thank you. And Saresh bhai, thank you so much for inviting me. Very simply, right? India is actually changing, as you've just heard. And India is changing for the better. Believe it or not, what is happening in India right now has never been done before anywhere in the world. How many of you know about UPI? How many of you use UPI?
100%.
There you go. Do you know that UPI is the only payment system in the world where you can clear a transaction in under 5 seconds? Do you know that? Do you know that India is actually exporting UPI to other countries? Good. Now, so there are new opportunities happening. Your imagination is basically what is going to limit you towards that particular idea that you're going to do. However, that being said, think of the idea, but then, as Reena was saying, right, execution is extremely important. So it's not just the idea of saying, oh, I have an idea. Okay, but what will you do about it? How will you do it? Who will do it? When will you do it? And then comes the idea of, I need money for it. Alright? The other thing is that a lot of people come up and say, okay, I built a tech platform. But tech is it's only an enabler. It's only an enabler, right? Are you actually going to go out and stand on the streets and do things where you're having to do to propagate your particular idea? Before I joined ONDC, I also tried out my hand at entrepreneurship. And you're all young enough to try out an idea. Think that what is it that will change the world? My companies had built out things like payment systems for toll plazas. Tried my hand at contract farming for organic foods. Tried my hand at digital wristwatches for dementia and Alzheimer's patients. Tried my hand at building out a clinical decision support system. We got to try out stuff. It's not just like you try out once and then you stop. You got to keep trying. You never know what will succeed. But at some point in time, just have some leverage point and say, when will you stop? Don't just keep going. Right? The other thing that I also want to say is that if you really and truly look at it, as I was saying, India is leading the world. But if you really and truly look at it, just trying to build a particular platform will not get you there. Okay? Unbundling and interoperability should be built into our DNA. To give you an example, is it possible that you pick up your phone on Vodafone and try and make a call to Airtel and the call will not go through? Is it possible that you will pick up, that you will walk into SBI with an HDFC check and say, I want to submit this, and they cannot take that money? Or vice versa. Right? These are clear-cut examples of interoperability, clear-cut examples of unbundling. Don't think of an idea of what all you have to do. You have to think of an idea of what all you can do, but what others would also do, so that you're actually going to build out an ecosystem which will help you succeed. That's it.
Very nice.
Really nicely put. Thank you so much, Rahul, for that opening comment. And Mr. Jain.
So I agree that India is a land of opportunities. So we need to find our space in this opportunity. I would only say that think big, think different. Idea has no one monopoly.
And this conversation is taking at a time when India has become the center of ideas in many ways, because the number of startups that we have is all because of that fire in the belly. So let's show that fire in the belly now, young boys and girls, and ask questions. सवाल पूछिए, जवाब मिलेगा यहाँ पर. Yes.
Any question from the audience?
I can see that none of you have any questions, which is either very good or very bad.
Hesitation
But
होता है.
Yes.
okay, but how does one create ideas?
Yes.
You know, that is the first thing that we need to think of. Getting an idea is not so easy. Or maybe it is so easy that I get an idea every morning when I wake up, I want to do this and I want to do that. But is that a good idea or a bad idea? That one has to see. Now, how does one identify whether it is a good idea? The first thing to identify whether the idea is good or bad is to see if there is a market demand. Try and connect the dots. Like very rightly somebody said that technology is only an enabler and it is definitely not a business. So if there is a technology that is available to me, how can I further exploit it to make life easy for the others? And when I say for the others, it could be B2B, it could be B2G, it could be B2C. That is business to government, business to the end consumer or the end client. Right? So we need to actually do our own research to find out what is convenient. Don't try to disrupt that market, because if it is convenient, it is already there. Somebody's already resolved that problem. But what else can be convenient? That is how one generates ideas. And now I would love to see any of the ideas coming from you guys.
And no question is a bad question.
Okay,
Sometimes
now let's
in
do it
audience
this way.
you feel that
Let's do it this way. That since all of you may be shy, let's try and break that. Because सवाल कुछ तो होगा. कुछ तो आप सोचते होंगे कि maybe they'll be able to help you in some way.
How many are from MBA?
Okay, let's ask that. Yes, please. Go ahead. I'll come.
No, give the mic.
Mic hai?
Give her the mic.
Yes, please. Pass on the mic. Yes. And your question will be to whom you can open it, ask to anybody. Let's do it. Come.
Good afternoon, my name is Niharika, and I have a series and array of questions I would like to ask.
Yes, please.
Education to entrepreneurship.
Ma'am.
So, what is the middle ground? Because we are not thinkers. We students, many of us, I don't know if my peers will relate, but some of us may be the breadwinners for a house. We do not have the liberty to think out of the box. We have been constantly asked to do a certain amount of work and we get the results. Like, I'm comparing the academic life and the life you suggested as an entrepreneur. So I'm asking, what's the middle ground? How do we break it? How do we think out of the box without disrespecting our curriculum or our discipline towards the education?
Join the State Bank of India. There is a middle ground.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. You.
Can I?
Yes,
Okay,
please.
Go ahead.
No.
Let him say.
See, it's not about only entrepreneurship. We have financial lit means people will come from banks. They will show you basic what is the banking. Then there is stock market. Now these days, when we were growing up, see how government has made things easier. This is the revolution which has happened. When we were growing up, or when I was a trader on the floor of the exchange, minimum lot size was 100 shares. Means if a Reliance is costing 1,000 rupees, you cannot buy a Reliance till you don't have 1 lakh rupees. over a period of time, they've brought it down. Now you can even buy one share. So, and then, so it's not about that. I'll give an example because we thought, Maria,
Yes.
I thought let's invite madrasa students also in these programs.
जी.
So I got this idea in Hyderabad, and I talked to a couple of people and the top people in the government. They said, "यार वो मदरसे के बच्चे क्या करेंगे यहाँ पे?" Then I said कि हाँ कुछ भी नहीं करेंगे, लेकिन यहाँ आएंगे तो उनको पता चलेगा कि मदरसे के बाहर भी एक दुनिया है. So we want to show you that. कि यहाँ से बाहर निकलोगे तो एक दुनिया है. तो अभी से आपको बता रहे हैं, हमको तो कोई नहीं बता रहा था. जब बाहर निकले तो पता चला मालूम नहीं क्या है इसके आगे दुनिया. तो मदरसे के बच्चों को मैंने बुलाया, आई कॉल्ड देम. फिर मुझे पता चला यहाँ लड़कियों का भी मदरसा है, मारिया
जी.
तो आई वेंट देयर. अच्छा मुझे तो लगता है निकाब में आए, हिजाब में आए, भाई चलता है अपने को बात करने. और मैं पूछ लेता हूँ लड़की को कि भाई आवाज का तो पर्दा नहीं है ना आपके लिए? वो भी होता है आजकल. तो मैं लड़कियों के मदरसे में गया, मैंने कहा नहीं आप आइए वहाँ, आप हिजाब में आइए. मैं ये डिबेट में नहीं जाना चाहता, हिजाब सर ढका जो भी, आप पूरे ढके हुए आइए. उस प्रोग्राम में
जी
14 बच्चियां ही मदरसे की और 20 या 22 बच्चे मदरसे के लिए, लड़कों के मदरसे के. फिर जब खत्म हुआ तो मैंने वो लड़कियों को कहा कि आइए, तुमने क्या यहाँ की क्या देखा? मैंने कहा निकाब में आइए, लेकिन हमको बताइए कि व्हाट यू फेल्ट. मैंने बाद में वो मौलाना से पूछा 1-2 महीने के बाद कि यार वो बच्चे आए थे क्या हुआ? तो आई कुड आस्क देम कि लेके क्या गए. बस ये है.
Thank you so much. Okay, guys, we have a woman starting the discussion. Please go ahead. सवाल पूछिए.
So one more thing I actually
Yes,
want
please.
You have
Go
some
back.
time
I'll
during
get
the
the
day,
mic.
right? Even though you're working, you have stuff to do. Yes, but you always have some time. Don't think that your time is completely taken off. You will have 1 hour in a day. You will have 30 minutes in a day. Think about what else you can do, and don't try and get constrained by an idea that यही एक idea है और इसके अलावा और कुछ हो नहीं सकता. Okay, as Reena said earlier, if it is easy, it's already been done.
Yes.
Okay, or it is illegal.
Okay, Reena wanted to make a point. Please, can we have the mic? Yes, Reena wanted to make a point. Please go ahead, Reena.
See, what can you do? Look at your life every day. Whatever you're doing, I'm sure it is not 99 or 100% as you would want it to be. So be ambitious. Look at it. How can I make it more comfortable? How was Uber invented? How did the idea of Uber come up? Because the guy was hunting for a cab, he couldn't find a cab. So he said, why don't I have an app and I don't have it? That's how the ideas come up. So in your everyday life, if you see what you're missing today and what is it that will give you comfort, begin with those ideas. It'll get your mind to think beyond it. You will start being a little sensitive to others' pains in the market. Start reading. I'm sure there's so much information that is available. Now look at it. What is net zero?
Yes.
Why is everyone talking about 2030 we're going to be net zero? Everyone is talking about it. Now what is it? Should it not give you an idea? Just the word net zero. Everyone's talking about cryptography. I'm not talking of cryptocurrency here. Okay, doesn't that give you an idea? What else can I do? What is it? So you've got to be a little proactive. You've got to think. What is it that you can do with this? And how? And where can it take you? So don't pressurize yourself as what is it that I can do? I'm just a student. I'm doing what I'm told. You give, I see 4 kids are brought up in the same house. You give the same job to them, they all do it differently. That is only human tendency, right? So learn to think beyond yourself, learn to think out of the box. You will be full of ideas and you won't know how to contain your ideas. This is my guarantee.
Yes.
Good afternoon. Myself, Dr. Mohammed Shafiq. My question is to Rajneesh Kumar sir. Sir, actually, SBI is a top public sector bank. While on the other hand, there are many public sector banks who are not able to survive and the merging is taking place. So can you comment on the strategies adopted by the State Bank of India to become the top leader, and why can't we use such strategies in other public sector banks?
Very good question and a very difficult question to answer. So I think the State Bank has certain advantages which is not available to other banks. One is that its history itself is very long. So it was first established in 1806. And then it has been performing the main role in the Indian economy, whether it was in British rule or it is in independent India. And in 1921, the presidency banks, erstwhile presidency banks, it became Imperial Bank of India. In July 1955, it was nationalized. It was the first bank to be nationalized. So one is its DNA, which comes from right way back to 1806. It has been able to maintain it. The other is that a service organization which is like the State Bank of India, it's very important that what quality of people you recruit. It had always a history of attracting top talent. And by the way, its first chairman was a finance minister of India, ex-finance minister, John Mathai. So when you have such a rich legacy, and then fortunately the successive generation of the top leaders who have guided the bank, they have played a role in preserving its original DNA, attracting the top talent in the country, and then because, as I said, that it always was the main bank and vehicle. Whichever government thought that they want to do something, the first, it was State Bank of India. The other banks, they got nationalized later. It's not that other banks are not doing well. Some of them did not do well. Some did well. We have good examples of like Bank of Baroda or a Canara Bank, so PNB. So they have also survived for long. But yes, the differentiation comes now, particularly one is the progressive management, and second is the opportunity which the people who get recruited in the State Bank, they get to work in a large institution across geographies, across this thing. So it's a self-momentum driven, but I would say that quality of leadership and quality of people in the State Bank of India has relatively been better, and of course, like the role and responsibility and the expectation from the people in general and the government has always been different or differentiated, and that's how it has maintained its leadership. But it goes to its credit that for more than 200 years and you can maintain a leadership position, and despite so much competition from private sector, you still maintain your market share.
Okay. Yes, please. You have a mic for yourself? Yes, go ahead.
Good afternoon to respected sir and ma'am. My name is Sayyid Shajil Hassan and I'm currently pursuing BBA and I'm in the third year. My question is, how does one person deal with fear and doubts when thinking about opening a business? And what advice would you give that to one person?
Viren, will you take that question? If you can. Yes.
You know, it's a tough one, but I will say this, that when you have an idea, believe in yourself and then reach out to help groups. So there is a lot of mentorship, available in India around NCR today that you can reach out to, and there will be people willing to help you out on that. So I think, just believe in yourself, take the plunge. It's like they say, right, that when you take the plunge, your fears and anxiety will go away. So if you have an idea, believe in yourself and take the plunge. And I'm happy to guide, mentor you in any which form you would like to. So feel free to reach out to me also for any guidance.
Only one thing is that failure is also a part of life. So we should never be fearful of failures. And there are hundreds and hundreds of examples that in the first 2 attempts, 3 attempts, people have failed. And but with their passion and perseverance, they have been successful.
I'll add on failure. My grandfather's axiom on failure was because उनसे हमने बिजनेस सीखा बचपन से. बचपन में जब भी वैकेशन होती थी तो हम ऑफिस में जाते थे तो वो एक बात कहते थे कि देखो अगर तुम्हारा नौकर गलती करता है तो वो नुकसान है और तुम अगर गलती करते हो तो वो तजुर्बा है. तो गलती अगर हम करते हैं अपने कारोबार में तो वो फेलियर नहीं है, दैट इज एन एक्सपीरियंस. सो लर्न टू कमिट मिस्टेक योरसेल्फ, not give it to others to make mistake. That's it.
I have time for 2 more questions, please, if you can wrap it up. Yes, please, go ahead.
Good afternoon, sir and ma'am. My question is basically to Zafar sir. Actually, as my friend Niharika pointed out, like we only know the umbrella definitions of like stock market, stock exchange. Can you explain us and enlighten us with your words and your definition about the stock market? And in a simpler form, because we are just first year students from BJMC department. And I have another question regarding this. You said you were working with the stock market and you were the only Muslim in the 3,000 people. So how was your experience about like working with the stock market and being the only person with a different religion and something?
You see, regards to getting into the market, I mean, I started investing when I was in the 10th standard. उस ज़माने में ये it's about late early 80s. उस वक्त न्यू इश्यूज बहुत आते थे, नए इशू आते थे. और हाँ, हम लोग एक ऐसी जगह पे थे कि जहाँ हर आदमी को इन्वेस्टमेंट करना है, अहमदाबाद of all the places. और फिर I belong to सुन्नी बोरा कम्युनिटी. तो एवरी सुन्नी बोरा जितना पैसा बचता है वो स्टॉक मार्केट में जाता है. एंड सुन्नी बोरा हैव शेयर सर्टिफिकेट ऑफ इवन 1910. Yes. My grandfather had a share certificate of 1910 when Ahmedabad Electricity Company was formed. So Sunni Boras were always, in investing, stock market. So my grandfather used to send me to the market in those days at Ahmedabad Stock Exchange. So this now changed, things are more easy. I mean, उस जमाने में तो कंपनी के बारे में मालूम करना होता था तो पता नहीं कहाँ से लाना पड़ता था. अब तो आपके मोबाइल फोन पे सब अवेलेबल है. तो आप तो वो दौर में हो कि हमसे आपने 50 कदम और आगे पहुंच चुके हो ऑलरेडी. सो स्टार्ट डूइंग दैट. You can invest 100 rupees, you can invest 1 share also. You'll know. And you'll make a mistake. Yes. By committing, so there's a difference between an investor and a speculator in the stock market. So I'm not talking about the speculator. I'm only talking about pure investors. So be that. And second, yes, it was easy for me because I was amongst those 3,000 people. I had a very peculiar face with a beard. तो एक आदमी मेरे से सौदा करता था, हाँ वो दाढ़ी वाले साहब है ना, बस वो दूर से वो पता चल जाता था. देखिए that was the biggest advantage कि I was with beard. But of course, and yes, one more thing I'll add here, that even today there are about 1,000 members at the National Stock Exchange. 1,000? 1,500. And BSE about 1,000. Yeah, almost. Out of 2,500, how many Muslim membership would be there? Can somebody put a figure? Not even 6. So what are we talking about? इसलिए मैं हमेशा मुसलमानों को कहता हूँ कि किसने कनपट्टी पे बंदूक रखी कि आपको कि यूपीएससी के एग्जाम में मत बैठो? किसी ने रोका हमको? किसी ने रोका क्या मैंने जेईई के एग्जाम में ना बैठे? किसी ने रोका कि सीएटी कैट के एग्जाम में हम ना बैठे? किसी ने रोका कि भाई बॉम्बे स्टॉक एक्सचेंज के अंदर मेंबरशिप मत लो, ओपन होती है। तो हमने एक बोलते हैं ना 50 साल ऐसे ही गंवा दिए। आगे आइए, there are about 5,000 companies listed in the Bombay Stock Exchange. Yeah, companies, there must be at least 5,000. We can count on fingertips how many Muslim companies would be there. Who stopped us? कल ही मैंने गिरिराज सिंह के वहां बोला, मैंने कहा भाई स्टॉक मार्केट ऐसा है कि अगर हनुमानगढ़ी के मंदिर साहब की कंपनी है और उसमें दम है तो जुमा मस्जिद के इमाम साहब भी लगाएंगे कि नहीं लगाएंगे? ये है, वहां जब कंपनी आती है ना तो कोई ये नहीं देखता कि जुमा मस्जिद के इमाम साहब की है कि तो तबलीग जमात के अमीर जफर सरेश वाला की है। भाई ये कंपनी में क्या है, इसमें क्या दम है, कितना नहीं है। तो ये है, you come with those ideas, people like वीरेंद्र will not see कि किसका है, इसमें क्या दम है आइडिया में। तो ये है, तो we need to get this thinking in us, and that thinking when it will come now, then you are in much better place than what we were.
Okay, since I've been told, Zafar Bhai, to wrap this conversation up, and I'm so glad that it's the women in this room who are asking questions. So I'll give the final word to the women on this panel. That is Ms. Reena. Please go ahead, ma'am.
Considering we've got to wrap it up, I am sure all you guys are full of ideas. And I can tell you, if you try and create the right team members among yourselves, you've even got the right team sitting here, right here, and has different capabilities. Whenever you're thinking of starting a business, just don't look at it what is coming into my pocket. Please also see what is it that I can gain by aligning with somebody else. And don't try to see how much is going into his pocket, but try and see where can I do what if he comes in as a team member, and how fast can the growth happen. These are some of the basic points that one has to think when you're creating a team or when you're starting a business. Don't try to do everything all by yourself. A good team is the basic necessity of any entrepreneurship or any business. And I think ideas, just be a little proactive, read the newspapers or listen to the news or listen to what is happening around. Every keyword that you hear should give you an idea. If it doesn't, scratch your brain and find an idea. If nothing else, just as an exercise, because then you will start connecting the dots and start also seeing what is your strength. Because an individual strength is where it's going to be implemented, executed, and how one takes it forward. That's all I think to begin with. I have to
Please,
say
thank
that.
you so much.
So I can go on and on and on.
All the dignitaries on the dais for such a fruitful discussion. And madam and sirs have been actually making a point to you. And again, I'm just that I have this ardent love for शेर व शायरी and अल्लामा इकबाल साहब का फिर से वो शेर मुझे याद आ रहा है कि सितारों के आगे जहां और भी हैं अभी इश्क के इम्तिहान और भी तही जिंदगी से नहीं ये फजाएं यहाँ सैकड़ों कारवां और भी हैं तू शाही है परवाज है काम तेरा तेरे सामने आसमां और भी हैं और आखिरी बात ये कि एक दिन गए दिन के तन्हा था मैं अंजुमन में यहाँ अब मेरे राज़दां और भी so those were the words by Allama Iqbal back then so you have to do it and now I would like to invite our Honorable Vice Chancellor Sir Professor Afshar Alam Sir. Entrepreneurship has been a topic which is very close to Sir's heart and Sir just wanted to put some words.
Janab Zafar Saraswala sir, the former Chancellor of Manu, Sri Rajneesh Kumar, former Chairman of SBI, Mr. Viren Rana, the tech entrepreneur, angel investor and philanthropist, Madam Rana Ashok, Rahul Rana and Viren Rana, and Miss Maria Sakil, the anchor for Network 18, the Dean of School, Professor Reshma Nasri, Dr. Sana Beg, Head of the Department, all the faculty members and students. It is a great privilege to Jamia Hamdard to host a program on education to entrepreneurship program in collaboration with Talim and Tasliya, an initiative of Zafar Saraswala Sahab. It's really a very great initiative taken by Janab Jafar Saraswala Sahab, because as a very small investor, sir, I'm also every day morning see the ready money, see what is the BSc and the other fintechs are. So I do through ICCI and other for invest, and really for last 10 years I did it, and I make a good wealth by buying many shares and all. So really because of that investment in share, so it's there's a lot of you can't directly go for debit account, but through your some channel partners and all, you can do it for that. And being a teacher, we are generally poor people. But I started late because no risk, no gain. So you have to take a risk, and definitely you have even students. And sir belongs from Gujarat, and every Gujarati is an entrepreneur. Even if you see the history before independence, all the cotton industry and the share started from in 1920s and all in Bombay. It started by all Gujarati people. So we want to invite more Gujarati people to our management department so that they can learn how to do business. Because nowadays all the terror experts talk about the 1991 when Chandrasekhar was the prime minister and we have sold our gold. And after that, the market opened, and now the situation of India. Whole South Asia is facing problem. All the neighboring countries are in trouble. But India became a G20 leader. How it happened? Because of open market. And now I see how the government is supporting to ASEAN and other countries, even in Turkey, India is the first country to visit there to support. Because now India has money. And that happened only after 1991 market. And all the respective governments, they have supported that open market system. And really open market system supported well, even if student from MBA, finance, or even any branch, they can start small debit account in any of the bank. I'm not putting HDFC, ICCI, a lot of banks are doing, even SBI. And I'm not an investment banker, but it's my small experience I'm sharing. The idea of infusing entrepreneurship into education has spurred with much enthusiasm in the past few decades. The merit of effect has been stated result from this, such economic growth, job creation, increased societal reliance, but also individual growth, increased engagement, and improved equality. Putting this idea into the practice will, however, pose significant challenge alongside state the positive effects. However, the new education policy provides a novel path to the education system so as to make India as a global knowledge power and economic giant. The new education policy has provided impetus to entrepreneurship education in a number of ways. This provides for an interesting opportunity for higher education institute to include curriculum on entrepreneurship, which we had already set up a center for innovation incubation center, and it was recently inaugurated by Union Minister for State. The Department of Management has been forefront in this regard, and we have entrepreneurship as a subject both in postgraduate and undergraduate program. Since the inception of the course, many of our alumni have already exhibited their entrepreneurial skills and running their own companies. The new education policy has provided a fertile ground for creating a flexible combination of subject to be studied. This has provided for the nurture of imagination, intuition, skill enhancement, and entrepreneurial orientation. Keeping in line with the new education policy, the department has already started specialization in its MBA program of entrepreneurship. We offer entrepreneurship both as well as a minor specialization India has been a service-oriented society since the British Empire ruled us, which the former chairman of SBI has already talked about how SBI came up through Imperial Bank and all. So they have a good, even in such cases, there is a one law of 1897 that is still the General Clause Act is effective, created by the British government. Even President of India, they want to out some vice chancellor, you have to use that General Clause Act. So that DNA is very important for making laws and act. SBI no doubt came up in 1955, but the previous history is from the British system of act. That's why SBI is very strong. And when I was child, I only go to SBI bank because that time whole Jharkhand and Odisha have only SBI branch. So India has a service-oriented society since the British. To make shift culturally and socially towards entrepreneurship, we need to focus on different level, at the student level and at the institutional level and the societal level as well in the national level. The right economic ecosystem is another important parameter which is needed to support this wave of collecting entrepreneurship among the students. Various organizations and schemes have been fostered by the Government of India in this direction. Organizations like Startup India, Making India, many more have erupted in the last few years. And the result is wonderful. It can be concluded this seminars such as those and such effort of the university along with the government policies will make an impact in the right direction of education to entrepreneurship. And finally, I request to Janab Jafar Saraswala Sahab that Jamia Hamdard is very open. We have signed with you the MOU and we can do a lot of activities under your leadership. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Now I would like to invite our Dean, Professor Dr. Reshma Nasreen, and Head of the Department, Dr. Sana Beg. I take this opportunity to felicitate our guests with a small token of appreciation. I would like VC sir to felicitate the guests, Mr. Sareshwala. Thank you so much, sir, for being part of Hamdard. We'd also like to felicitate Mr. Rajneesh Kumar, sir. Mr. Viren Handa, sir. Ma'am. Viren Rana, sir. Viren Rana, sir. Miss Reena Ashok, madam. Mr. Rahul Anda, sir.
Everything is so useful.
Mr. Jain from CSDL, thank you so much for coming, sir, and being the knowledge partners with us. Last but not the least, we would like to felicitate Ms. Maria Shakil also for adding starters to the event.
Jamia Hamdard. Yes, first batch.
चलिए हम लोग
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
I'd also like to felicitate our Vice Chancellor by a planter. Our HOD and our team would be doing the honors. Thank you for coming, sir, and encouraging us. So now it is my privilege and duty to extend a vote of thanks on behalf of Jamia Hamdard as well as Department of Management. And what I feel is that to extend the vote of thanks is a very gracious duty. And once it is given to an individual, because it makes you happy, because gratefulness is the first thing that makes you happy. It is the purest form of happiness. So I would like to extend gratitude to two individuals who have been the main source behind the culmination of this collaborated event, our Vice Chancellor, Professor Afshar Alam sir, for being our guiding force, and Mr. Zafar Sareshwala and Talim Tarbiyat, which is in Hamdard, for the culmination of this event. Thank you both of you, sir. With the same fervor, I want to thank Mr. Rajneesh Kumar for his presence in today's functions. Thank you, sir, for being there at Hamdard. I would also like to thank Mr. Viren Rana, Mr. Rahul Anda, and Ms. Reena Ashok. Special mention of Ms. Maria Shakil also is required here because she actually made the students excited about the whole event. Thank you, ma'am. We want to thank our knowledge partners for the event, CDSL, TAI, and Mr. Khan. Lastly, thank you for all the colleagues, all those friends who have become colleagues, all the student volunteers who provided us the back-end support, and thank you for being such a great audience. Now we'll all stand up for the national anthem after the Azan. Students only, the workshop will continue, the workshop on financial literacy after the national anthem. So the students will have to be seated in the hall only.
जनगणमनमधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड़ उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
Like the music, proceed for the lunch.
हेलो अभी आते हैं अभी आ
Request the guests to proceed for lunch. The students may be seated for the workshop on financial literacy.
Rahul ji will be there.
Rahul sir will be there. So the students need to be seated, and all the guests will proceed for lunch.
बाद में राहुल सर कंटिन्यू कर लें बच्चों को
All the students are requested to sit, please, for the workshop. All those who have registered, please sit.
अच्छा ओके और
ठीक है और मेरा जिनेश कुमार और वीना मैडम ये 5 आप पहुंच पाइए नहीं अभी 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 यहीं पे चला नहीं बच्चों का लंच इसके बाद हाँ अभी ये उठा राहुल साहब हाँ चलता अच्छा ये रख थोड़ा गाड़ी में एक रखवा दो चलो ठीक है एक एक उठा लो बस 5 रहने देना एक सर का रहने दो एक जफर सर का रहने दो बाहर गाड़ी है एक रीना मैडम का एक वीरेंद्र राणा सर ये रीना मैम का जैन सर का ये एक रजनीश ये रीना मैम और एक मारिया मैडम का है यहाँ पे बच्चा शर्जील
शर्जील नाम नहीं याद हो रहा यार नाम थोड़ा याद करो
अरे ये रीना मैम तुझे रीना मैम का दिया है उनका लेके जाना
रीना मैम
हाँ
किसी का भी बात
ये ड्राइवर पर्टिकुलर ड्राइवर आदिल
दो यहाँ रखना
आदिल का नहीं दो नहीं रखना एक ही रखना है
एक दो नहीं आते तो ये
एक मारने बस
एक नीचे भी है बस दो दो रखिए ठीक है
सर थोड़ा सा मैं मैनेज करा लूँ आप प्लीज हैव अ सीट यस यस और अमर कहाँ है अमर को हाँ
तो वो
तो अभी वर्कशॉप में अच्छा ठीक है लेकिन जहाँ जहाँ ये दिया वहाँ प्लांटर्स
जहाँ जहाँ जैसे गाड़ी में दिया उसमें प्लांटर्स दे दिया मैम दो दे दिया दो प्लांटर्स भेज दिए
हाँ मैं रीना मैम के पास हाँ
ये रीना मैम एंड राहुल सर आर टुगेदर ठीक है
सो उनका साथ में रहना। दिस इज रीना मैम, राहुल सर का रखवा दिया है।
कहाँ रखवा दिया? राहुल सर का गाड़ी के अंदर रख दिया?
नहीं
नहीं, उन्होंने बोला अभी वर्कशॉप में बैठे हैं ना।
वर्कशॉप में बैठेंगे। सुनो, लिसन अंजलि, लिसन, रीना मैम का यहाँ है।
Basically, there are 3 guests gonna be here.
हाँ,
Workshop.
ये किसका है? वो
शांत, उन दोनों का उठा के अंदर रख दे, इट विल बी बेटर ऑफ।
हाँ, दिस इज गोना बी बेटर।
हाँ,
तो उठा लो ना एक कोई, भाई उठा लो वहाँ से, मैं ये उठा लेता हूँ।
कोई भी दो उठा लो, इट्स द सेम।
हर सेम है, बट वो वहीं पे पड़ा है ना, वो उठा ले रहे हैं, वो सही रहेगा।
बस बच्चों को थोड़ी देर बैठना मैम, ये यहाँ पे रहेंगे ना? ये किसके हैं? एक रीना मैम का, एक
नहीं, वो रखवा दिया, वो रखवा दिया।
3 है,
वो 2 हो गए ना
यहाँ पे 3 है, 2 रखा गया।
वो 2 रखा गया। अब ये किसके हैं?
एक ऑप्शन
एक काम करते हैं यार, रखवा दे कहीं इशारा उन्होंने दिया ये।
मैम को बुलाओ,
मैम को बुलाओ यार, तुमने कंफ्यूज किया। अब किस
ये 2 बच्चे
वहाँ 2 वेट करेंगे बाहर, मैम तुम ले जाओ।
Okay.
और जफर साहब का भी एक होगा, जफर साहब का भी नहीं जाएगा।
अच्छा, जफर साहब का भी नहीं जाएगा। तो ये लोग जफर साहब का रखते हैं, जफर साहब का रखते हैं।
नहीं जाएंगे फिर।
मैं कह रही हूँ या फिर मैं बच्चों को भी
हेलो, अंदर कोई भी कुछ ना